Welcome everybody to the latest and greatest episode of Heighten Your Sixth Sense with Sean Green. I got Mr. Kunal from Toronto, Canada today. He is the owner of Meal Deals app. He's also the host of Subject Matter Pro podcast. He brings over 25 years of experience in hospitality industry. He is a seasoned entrepreneur, lifelong learner, speaks 5 languages. He has master in financial economics from Rodman School of Management, economics degree from Macaster, where he graduated summa cum laude. He's leveraged his experience for career in capital markets on Bay Street, entrepreneurship, and managing marketing companies to deliver success for meal deals, restaurant partners. Just welcome to the show. It's great to be with you. We had a great conversation a few days ago, and I feel like we resonated and connected despite having some little, I guess, audio issues and stuff because of bad signal. But we here, thank God, and we got some rest, and we both smiling and alive, and I'm just happy to have you on the show.
Sean, thank you so much. That's such a lovely introduction. And to all your listeners and guests, thank you for tuning into today's episode.
Yes, sir. So how's everything going in your world, and what's new on your plate, and just tell me what's going on with you.
So if any of you are watching the video podcast of this or the other YouTube version, I've got a toque on because I'm in Toronto, Canada, and it's cold. Life's been good. We've launched, as Sean had said, so I'm one of the co-founders of this restaurant marketing company called Meal Deals. It's a global marketplace that connects restaurants and diners by allowing restaurants to do just-in-time hyper-local marketing. And we launched that last April. So Sean, effectively for the last 10 months of my life, every single day, short of a couple of days here and there where I had to take forced timeouts because I just needed to not burn out. Every day has been it's every day is different, but it's still 100% dedicated to Meal Deals in some way, shape, or form. And so life's been pretty cool. Lots of great new things happening along the front, lots of exciting growth and developments over the 10 months of our company. And just, trying to get that really ready to go and more aware, have more partners worldwide on there and focusing all our efforts on that.
Sir, but I mean, I know when we talked, you said that the amount of subscribers on the app website is like growing like crazy. You in 53 countries and growing. So I mean, in the time frame you've been active, I mean that's some amazing numbers. What contributes to that growth?
Thank you, sir. And for our listeners, just filling them on like some of the growth trajectory that I shared with you. When we launched in April 2024, we had 5,500 active users on Meal Deals. As of today, we're at about 1.1 million active users. So that's almost like a 200x growth in user base. We've grown from having just under 1,000 restaurants on the platform in April 2024 to almost 53,000 restaurants now. And have gone from one country, which was Canada, principally when we started, because again, we're headquartered in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And today we are in 53 countries. And what's really helped us grow fast, Sean, I think has been my partner and our chief technology officer, Mario Russo. He's very intelligent and, we built something very utilitarian. So we spent a lot of time in deciding what we wanted to build as a company, what direction and focus we wanted to have, what was going to be our value proposition in the marketplace, where there are a lot of great options for people. So I think we were able to distill and clarify what it is that we really wanted to be our strength and focus, and then really trust the process and let time help compound the growth and the returns that we experienced. And a lot of this knowledge, wisdom, this understanding stems from, like you mentioned in the introduction, my first job was at a Pizza, which is a local Canadian fast food pizza chain when I was 15 or 16 years old. And so I've been working with restaurants as either like a store attendant or server, helping restaurant owners with their marketing, some way, shape, or form in that industry, very committed to that. So that allows me to extrapolate more than 2 decades worth of knowledge and things I've learned working with these business owners, what they
Yes, sir.
need, where some of the shortcomings are. And then the benefit of having a partner like Mario who brings forth the technology and the technical expertise required for execution. Because oftentimes you hear people talk about, businesses need CEOs or the CTOs putting out the product. No, it's actually, you need all parts of the system to work really well together as a founding team in order to deliver success for
Yes,
the
sir.
company and for your partners. So I think our biggest growth factor has been we have a very good team whose priority is to serve the organization and to look past our own personal agendas. And I think that single-minded vision of ours allows us to wake up every day and do all the various things we need to do, knowing that the end objective is how do we serve the best interest of the company.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. So you're just with from the sound of foundation of the leadership, y'all have like an energetic unity, and so y'all kind of you looking past just yourself, and you're looking at the greater vision for the company, for what you plan to do for the future growth of the company.
And sir, like Mario and I, we jump on so many meetings and calls, and we're always making adjustments, improvements, talking about how we can evolve the platform. And there's a lot of redundant work that him and his team have to do, but he
Mm-hmm.
always does it with a smile because until you try something, you don't know the effectiveness of it. And that's one other benefit that we've also had is Mario and his team are very flexible in their willingness to try new things, because understanding that until you try a whole bunch of methodologies, it may be very difficult pre-post to come up with an accurate analysis of how something may actually play out. So to have
Mm-hmm.
kind of openness, because the number of times where they've had to undo their work because whatever idea or improvement the sales team put forth did not equate or did not transfer to the same level of success we had thought it was going to bring. And in some
Mm-hmm.
cases, it may actually have caused a worsening or a negative impact on the existing platform. So by adding a new feature, we may have actually made the user experience worse.
Yeah.
So it's very fortunate for us where the front of house, which is like sort of, using restaurant terminology, or the front of house, which is our sales teams, our
Mm-hmm.
operation and marketing teams, and then our back of house, which is the technology team, the development team, our SEO experts, our social media managers who are out there creating content on a regular basis, given how dynamic we are. They work very well together in that the front of house will make the back of house do some work. And if that work doesn't pan out and we ask them to undo it, they don't get
Yeah.
salty about it. And then the next time another requisition comes up, there's no bickering or there's no reminding of, remember when we had done this and you didn't like it? I don't think we should do this again, right? There's that constant
Mm-hmm.
openness and positivity of experimentation and that attitude that we have in our team, which is also very valuable for us to grow.
Mm-hmm. So it sound like you have very thorough, clear communication, and people will just really focus on the overall the main goal of success.
And Chuck, when you're a large company, like we're a
Mm-hmm.
global company, we have a lot of moving parts. We have a lot of dynamic individuals on our team. We have them because we trust them to do their job. Everyone comes on with one single goal. And this is something that it's not just our company, it's anyone in general, yourself, myself, everyone included. We're all
Mm-hmm.
looking for how can we be successful and how can we do better. That's an innate behavior trait in us. It's not something that really needs to be coached. What you really need coaching with is how can you help that individual maximize their gifts so that they could be the most successful
Mm-hmm.
at what they need to do and thrive in their own way. And our teams always tell us, how do you like us to pitch? What would you like us to do? And yes, there's guidelines and there's certain things that we like to share with them as to like what are
Mm-hmm.
some sound principles. At the end of the day, we're so unique and skilled in our own being that you need to let the individuals shine
Yeah.
and maximize their ability. So once you understand that everyone wants to be successful, and if you're able to clearly articulate what it is that how you define success, and for us, we're lucky in that success at this point doesn't have monetary definitions attached to it, uh,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it easier for us because now there's more than just, okay, are we getting more money today? Like we understand that financial success is one dimension of it, but there's a lot of ways to look at it. And if
Yep.
we can empower the team saying, okay, what can we do to ensure that you're going to be successful towards this common vision you have? then it becomes very easy to let people who are set to gain from the growth to act in very good interests and act in ways that is beneficial to everyone involved. And again, like I said this and I repeat this all the time, Meal Deal's job is to serve our restaurant partners and our users. That's what we built the platform for. It's a utilitarian, value-based service
Mm-hmm.
platform, sir. That's our objective, is to serve. It won't go away. And as leaders and as the stakeholders of the company, our job is to serve meal deals, which equates to serving our customers. So everything, as long as it's viewed through that lens, then almost any decision or any conversation we're having internally with our employees or amongst partners, once we check off some boxes on those criteria, and it's very easy to green light anything that we want to push forward to see, okay, what is going to be the outcome of it? Well, we know that the result or the objective of why we're doing it is sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it sounds like that, I was thinking when you was talking about how the way your team communicates, and nobody's really focused on like the monetary goal right now. That's not the goal. It's the goal of building and growing effective communication within the team. And so it's y'all seem like y'all really working with the one mind principle, one mind, one goal. That's from my outside, my outside perspective, looking at it from what you're saying. So that's pretty cool though. So I can see that the company is really gonna grow and expand, rapidly, which it is doing. It's going to continue to do that if y'all keep with that same pace and the same spirit energy. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you.
Hmm. Yes, sir. And so I know like you are like, you got a lot of experience. I know Toronto is your home now, but you have traveled a lot in the world a lot. And so with all that experience, do you feel like that has affected the way your mindset and your approach toward innovation and business and meal deals?
And that's such a great question. And I don't think I've shared this with you, so I'll also take a little bit of a detour and
Mm-hmm.
share some background about myself with your audience as well.
Mm-hmm.
You hit the bullseye when you said, I've had the privilege of living in a few countries and traveling and a few things. So I was born in Mumbai, India. Grew up in India, came to Canada when I was 15. That's when my family immigrated here to
Okay.
Toronto. I went to school in Hamilton, which was for McMaster, which was about, I think, one of the top 10 or 15 biggest cities in Canada, about hour and a half away from Toronto. Spent a lot of time in the city. I've lived in the Dominican Republic. I've lived in Mexico for a little bit. And I've traveled to maybe 20, 30 countries, I would say. Most of them I've been very lucky where, growing up, my dad used to be the sales executive of a dyes and chemicals company. The company made fabric colors and such.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very good at what he did. And, his successes allowed us a lot of privileges when we were younger. So thanks to my parents, I got to travel a lot of the world. And, as I got into my 20s, I continued some of those passions of backpacking and just exploring. That's part of the reason why, I'm also happen to be a polyglot and I speak 5 languages, solely because 2 from mother tongue and education. French is Canadian, and then Spanish from my experiences in the Dominican and Mexico, and then just the ability to be in a multicultural hodgepodge like Toronto is such a blessing because it allows you to practice these skills you've developed because of the fact that you have such a global community and further enhance your knowledge. And I've been so fortunate to have such a lovely, like, diverse life and opportunities to experience all of this. And I can only really sit there and reflect on this. I'm 41 now as we record this. I don't think in my 20s or 30s I had the appreciation of just all the experiences I was getting. It was a lot more tied to other experiences rather than what I was taking away. But I was lucky enough where one of the things I've always been my whole life, I've been almost like a solo cat, like not a loner, but like I'm one of those individuals where sometimes I like to do things my way. And if that requires me being by myself, then so be it,
You cool with it.
And I partied a lot when I was younger, in my late teens, early 20s, and then somehow that just sort of weaned out of me.
Yeah.
And that also shifted my focus on how I would absorb information in the world around me, right? So as you evolve and you grow, I've had the luxury of just soaking up all this wonderful knowledge by trying to be present in my surroundings.
Hmm.
Lots of failures. Oh my God, the number of failures I've had in my life, which have been one of the most wonderful teachers, right? And then
Yeah,
financial failures are even better teachers because they teach you very rapidly.
that's where the growth comes from the failure. Yeah, if you had the right mindset to understand that. Yeah.
And like, you know what? Failures is like, again, failure is like it's a word, it's a negative outcome, really, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of reasons why that can happen. And what's important about failures is, you use that failure as a learning tool for either
Mm-hmm.
debriefing or understanding or evolving or improving whatever you need to do to help minimize the probability of such failures occurring again. There's a lot more that goes into it. So obviously I'm overly simplifying it. You need to have ability to have access to those opportunities. Knocking on doors is great, but sometimes you need to have the means to knock on the doors too. There's definitely some
Mm-hmm.
baseline luck that you do need. There's no denying it. But
Absolutely.
it's really wonderful to have the luxury of having seen so many different cultures engage with life. I've lived in big cities, I've lived in small towns, I've lived in countrysides, right? And then just trying to understand, as I reflect on my life and just understanding how common all of us human beings are, irrespective of whether we are in the United States or Canada or in some small town in the Dominican Republic. We're all human beings. We all do the same things, very similar. And then once
Yep,
you
we
understand
all
how
the same.
small the world is, like the world is massive because it still takes hours to fly anywhere and get
Yeah.
anywhere. But when you realize how interconnected the world is and how small that makes it, we're very similar. So
Oh,
that's
you're
been
very.
one of the biggest takeaways of my life experiences would be just the similarity in the human beings. Like we just like look a little bit different, eat some different flavorings and foods, speak
Mm-hmm.
funny sounding language to one another sometimes. But other than that, we're effectively the same.
Oh yeah, everybody, most people want the same things. They want, financial security, good place to sleep at night, and food, get put in their stomachs, and they just want to, be with
We all mourn the same.
friends and family. Yeah.
Exactly. We all mourn the same. We all celebrate the same. We all do the same things all over the world, whether it's tea or alcohol or a beer
Mm-hmm.
or a meal. Every
Mm-hmm.
culture in the world loves to congregate and celebrate and share some smiles, play a game, whether it's dominoes or pool or some other sport.
Exactly.
Like, and they all mourn. We're all human beings. We're all the same, just slightly unique in our own individual ways. And that's been one of the coolest lessons that my
Yeah.
life experiences of having lived in so many countries has allowed me to really, if there's one takeaway that I've got from everything, the languages, everything else, those are all byproducts of time and effort spent that anybody else can recover. But the
Mm-hmm.
major takeaway would be we're all the same.
Yep. I agree with that. I agree because I was in the military, so I got a chance to not try to travel the whole world, but I was in the Pacific area. We got a chance to go to India, Australia, Singapore, China, a lot of places over in that area in the Pacific region because my ship was stationed over there. So I've seen that firsthand that yeah, we do speak different languages and we maybe have a different religion, but generally we all the same. We always everybody want the same goal to to be with family and love and be financially stable and on their own level, have that security. So
And people are inherently nice, man. On the whole, you know what? I've never been around the world where, sure, you're going to have people do certain things in certain situations which may not be
mhm,
ideal if you're the quote unquote victim in that situation or
yeah,
circumstance. And again, I don't mean to downplay any catastrophic or negative impact that people have had in their lives, which have been very traumatic. But all I'm saying is that
mm,
overall, there's goodness in the world. Step in and help. And it doesn't matter where in the world you are. You know what I mean? Like it's people are just they're caring, man. They're loving. They're trying to do the same thing, working hard with what they have and trying to make the best of what they can with whatever they have, whatever's provided to them.
yep. I mean, a different like culture really when you look at it, culture is really just like habits, you know. That's only just it's just a different habit at a different group of people, different
I love that. That's
group.
very well said. I'm going to
Yeah,
actually use that. I love how
mm,
you articulated that. Culture
yeah.
is ritual. That's exactly what it is. It's true.
Because like even like my area of the country, we in the south of I guess the United States, we are generally known for eating fried foods or stuff like that, which is true. We barbecue a lot and stuff, so it's not false. It's just a habit over time that people that's what we do when we get together. We gonna eat something probably unhealthy, but it tastes good.
I was gonna say it tastes hell of a good. So
Yeah,
if you've ever tried any of the Southern barbecue, though, you know why you eat it. Like, let me tell
yeah,
you, that stuff is finger licking tasty good.
yeah. So I know I've never been really been to Toronto, but I actually you probably the fifth person I interviewed from Toronto. So it's
Nice.
like must need to go to Toronto because I keep getting pulled to Toronto
And Sean, let me
interviews.
tell you, the food scene here
Yeah,
is incredible. As I alluded to earlier, we're a hodgepodge of multiculturalism, so global here that the level of food is, I don't think I've traveled to anywhere in the world where I found better food. And Toronto is so lucky. Whenever somebody asks you or asks me, hey, what's the best restaurant in the city or, you know,
hmm
food, we're so lucky that you almost have to ask people the following specific questions in order to give them options. A is how much do you want to spend? B, what
yeah.
part of the city you want to be in? And what kind of food you want to eat? That's how many choices we have that are top notch.
That's cool.
$5 sandwiches all the way to $500 fancy dinners and everything in between. We've got such exquisite offerings globally that literally the question comes down to how much you want to spend, where you want to eat, and what kind of food you want to eat. And it's a really cool feeling when your food decision comes from choices like that, right?
Yeah,
So definitely you have an incredible time if you ever visited here.
yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I know. 'Cause I think I heard there's like over 100 different languages spoken there.
I wouldn't be surprised, man.
hmm
Probably more once you factor in dialects, because so
Yeah,
many countries in Canada, like we have a very high immigrant population. I'm an immigrant myself. So just the number of sheer number of languages that we bring in through our cultural immigration to Canada,
yeah.
plus the dialects. And that's another cool part of having lived globally is that I get to fully maximize and extract the value of Canada because when I'm around, I know when a person is Dominican through the way they talk. I could tell when a person is Cuban. I know when someone's
Yeah.
from Mexico. I could tell an Argentinian or a Venezuelan part. My business partner
Uh,
is Portuguese. He's Brazilian. I
yeah.
could tell when someone's from Brazil. And I know, so it's really lovely to have that. I could tell, okay, this person is from South Africa based on how they speak. This person is from the
Mm,
UK. This person's from Australia.
yeah.
Because of how much repetition you get to interact with the global community in Canada. It's a
Yeah.
really lovely luxury that you get to enjoy and embrace and appreciate all the coolness of all the cultures. The
Yeah.
food is really a very strong indication of how similar we are because globally, all their foods are very similar
hmm
based on the principal sort of staple crops that were available to design them. The core
Yeah.
concept of all their foods are similar. How come it would be that different when all our foods are so similar?
And we all eating the same food. Just the difference is the seasoning.
And the staples, some people have more
Mm-hmm.
rice, some people have more potatoes, some people have more wheat, some people have more flour, that just comes out of whatever grows in your area. But the
Mm-hmm.
core product that we're eating is so similar that that's another thing that shows you that how is it that the world that is so diverse? And we're talking about islands and stuff. I'm sure they were colonized, and I get all of those, but it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of cool just to see how similar even places that are never connected, that use completely different words, also
Mm-hmm.
a similar thing.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Because but it's the truth though. It's so true. So we're leaving a stable career in capital markets to pursue entrepreneurship. What was bold, of you? Like what pivotal moment like pushed you to step into the world of startups innovation?
Sean, I've alluded to this a couple of times already in the call. I've been very, very fortunate with some of the circumstances that I've been afforded in life. And I graduated top of my class, summa cum laude in my undergrad in economics, and then was in the top 5 in my class for my master's at the University of Toronto in the Rotman School of Management. Landed a good job. So having had a lot of good accolades, and even at work when I was in capital markets, all my reviews were quite stellar. So having had sort of that added confidence of not only delivering results, but a lot of peers telling you that you're quite good and exceptional. And there's a few times where I thought that, okay, I'm not taking this at face value. But these peers were like, no, you should take it at face value because this is not coming from from a small sample size. We've had a chance to review a lot of people. You truly are better than some of the peers in the roles that we've hired you for. That coupled with some financial temporary strength. And I stutter a little bit as I say that because whatever little bit of money I thought was good was really is irrelevant because when you realize that's why we don't focus on finance in our company because we understand that that's sort of relative. And like the perfect example is $100 to somebody is paying a light bill or like utility bill and getting food, whereas $100 to somebody else is just walking through drunken through the casino and flipping it on black or red or that same $100 has such different values based on the situation you're in. That's why money, I don't really like to bring that in because it's very situational.
Yeah.
People's relationship with money, and it's also driven on consumption.
Yeah. And also depending on what part of the world you're in too.
Pardon?
I say that like $100 has the more value depending on what part of the world you're in. Because in some places where $100 is like rich, so before you can afford a lot of things to buy in your area, local area, depending on where you're
100%,
at.
sir. So the relative value of things it matters. But at the end of the day, the core thing is that, okay, what can we do as people? How can we empower people?
Yeah.
Maximize their situation.
Yeah, man, I can tell that, just the way you speak of yourself and your company, that you're a great leader. A great leader normally is going to recognize the talent in each individual person, and as long as you're able to let a person be themselves. But these are the guidelines we have. But I want you to be creative and express yourself to your best abilities. And when a person feels comfortable, they're gonna say blossom like a flower when they can feel like they can just be themselves. Yeah.
Right. So
Yes.
here I have great reviews. Everything's going good. I decided my parents don't need my help financially, right? At that point, they're doing okay. So a lot of those circumstances allow me to start a new business. I want to be in the Caribbean because it's warm. I don't want to be in the cold. And one thing as an entrepreneur, you realize is that, yes, you have an idea. You can take an idea, execute it, make it real. Literally, I've taken thoughts and executed them and brought it to real life, which is something that as a young man, you don't appreciate the power of it. Even till today, I don't appreciate fully like what it is I'm doing because, again, to me, it's just normal. But doing that, I realized that I'm not physically doing a lot of the tasks and a lot of the work. It's being done by other people. And I have my work, which I have to do, but everyone has their role. And my role is different, and we need everyone to fully embrace and it's a team game at the end of the day. For somebody who never played team sports, it's ironic that I use so much of a team analogy in these settings with our company, but we're a team in that everyone has a role, but we don't have to sort of we have to work together, but we still need to do our own things well enough where if one person doesn't do something, it's not going to break the whole team down because other people can pick up slack. We can identify, evolve, giving people the freedom, understanding the human side of things. And then one of the things I've always realized and prioritized in our companies, and I do this with our entire team, is priority should be you, your well-being, and your family. Anything you do with meal deals, anything you do with anything with us, we make that very clear. Our principal articulation is your well-being is number one. If there's ever anything that you need to do to make yourself better off, please let us know so we can be aware of it and we can do everything in our power to do that. Because when you realize that whatever company it is that you're partnering with or working with is actively looking for your best interests, if that means not with their company, but with someone else, you have to be sincere about it because you cannot fake that kind of appreciation. Then I find it becomes very easy to, create a culture of success and cultivate that innate desire in people. And having a good product, having something that is saliently well built and has value in it makes it a lot easier to do.
Yeah, I didn't really explore the app a whole lot, but I did look at it. The other night we talked, and just the easeability of it. You put it in your zip code, and boom, you got like 100 different options, and then it's most of them the ones you go frequent anyway, and you can actually save some money, and which is gonna bring value to you, and it's gonna bring value to your website. So everybody's getting value all the way around. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So for our listeners who want to support Meal Deals or learn more about your podcast, where can they connect with you and dive deeper into your work?
Thank you. It's simple. Meal Deals is just a website. You open it in any browser, type in mealdeals.app, MEALDEALS. So in place of .com, our URL is mealdeals.app. Or you can search Meal Deals app in Google or any browser. Then voila, you're on your way using it, scoring some sweet savings from local restaurants near you. Any feedback, please feel free to email us, hello@mealdeals.app. And I personally actually get all the emails that I like to read that come in just so I know, regardless of our team members allocated to it, I like to know what kind of messaging is coming in. It's part of my responsibility for the company. So we'd love to hear your feedback on how we can make it better. And if you have any restaurants or friends that you think would benefit from it, we would love your support in getting them to sign up to Meal Deals because this way it would help them raise their online profile and would allow us a way to showcase and feature them on meal deals as well.
Awesome, awesome. For the podcast, where can they listen to that?
So my podcast is called Subject Matter Pros. It's something that I haven't been super active on in the last couple of years because obviously meal deals has taken a very high priority, but it's available on all the platforms on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. And effectively, it's just a series of wonderful conversations like Sean and I have had today, where I've had the privilege of having a lot of guests with a varying set of skills, just share some cool experiences and teachings. And the reason I got into podcasting was I really enjoy having deeper conversations like the one we've had today, Sean. So podcast gave me a way to document some of these conversations and also allowed me a wonderful way to enhance my understanding and experiences by having guests share their stories, by allowing them to investigate, by allowing myself to investigate their reasons, things about them. That has been really wonderful in just enriching my own personal life. And then all listeners too, they get the benefit from all these wonderful conversations.
Exactly. Everybody can grow and expand, and so it's a beautiful thing, man. Well, I mean that pretty much wraps it up for today, man. I really appreciate your time, and I know we had few little changes, and actually it was a quick turnaround. I think honestly it's the fastest turnaround I had ever. But
prioritize urgency in our business, and I like to follow through with the principle in all walks of life, Sean. It's like, listen, when the more urgent you are, and me and my partner joke about this, right? Like, we're always busy, but we're always available. Because when you're busy, you have so many things to do that if I have something that's a high priority that requires just a little bit of my time or a little effort, or even if it requires my time, but it's important to me, just get it done now. Get it done and finish with it so that when the next priority comes on, I don't have to keep pushing this into the lower order of ranking, because I know that tomorrow something else is going to come up, right? So
it's
you're
always
always
gonna be
busy, but you're always available.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like long as you still kicking and screaming, you're available. So that's
Exactly.
the beauty to it. And so and what thing I have learned is that you can't really manage time because time is gonna happen regardless, but you can manage the activities you do with the time every day. And beautifully said, man. I appreciate it. And it's been another great episode of Heighten Your Sixth Sense. And we're gonna catch you guys on the next episode. Much love to y'all and peace.